Welcome back to UFScotland. Today we're going to be talking about the Guage mechanic, its introduction into the game and the changes that it's went through in the past year. So Guage came to us in the 7th Cross set, which came to us, 3 sets ago, so just before UU came out. And for there, like, Guage is a mechanic that I've always, I didn't know that Guage was going to come, obviously, but I've always enjoyed the idea of stacking characters. So Guage really appealed to me. I don't know about the other guys, but this is definitely one of my favourite mechanics in the game at the moment. So I'm joined today with Michael.
Alright, guys.
And Connor.
Alright.
And we're going to be discussing our thoughts on Guage. Da-da-da-da-da.
Cool. So, thoughts on Guage?
Now, who wants to go first? Let's go.
I'm thinking it needs to be you, right? You're the
Guage man.
the phrase. You're the person that was the most excited when Guage was announced.
Right. Well, if I'm going to be talking about that, right, I'll go back to why Guage was what I was looking for in this game. So when I started the game, I think I started off with Chun-Li, the Street Fighter starter set.
Despite my best effort.
And then, yeah. And then Mortal Kombat came out. Mortal Kombat came out at the starter set, and Scorpion was a very easy character to pick up and play, straight from the starter set. Like, and then I found out that there was another version of Scorpion.
Yeah, I think it was on the old Gen Con promo or something.
Yeah. And then Michael, told me that if I managed to get both of these characters into play, I can use both their abilities. And I was like, what? I can make Scorpion even like double better. Like, they both deal with desperation. Like, this is amazing. This is bust. And I was convinced that I was taking this to Nats because I think it was like a popular opinion in our community that Scorpion was going to be pretty big at that Nationals because it was so easy to pick up and play. So I think we thought that there was going to be a lot of Scorpions kicking about. So I wanted to kind of dodge the diversity rule by playing the other Scorpion and stacking on top. That obviously didn't happen, and we know that I played Quan Chi, etc. But like that, after that, like this was something that I was totally into. And then Street Fighter vs Darkstalkers came out, and I had a Chun-Li. I was like, yes, I love Chun-Li. There's another Chun-Li. Let's get the two Chun-Lis in.
Yeah, again, despite my best effort.
Like that, but that deck didn't come to fruition because the abilities, like, they didn't marry well. They weren't great. You'd have to play just kicks.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work. So I think from there, like, that, I was like, yeah, right. Scorpion's really the only thing that you can stack at the moment, but it still wasn't great. And then I hear about this 7th Cross, and there's people that can transform. And like, I remember speculating, like, what's this going to mean? Like, 7th Cross, what characters transform? Are they going to be double-sided cards? What's going to happen? Guage came. Guage, fantastic. Let's get multiple versions of characters into play. Let's make our one character into two. Give them double the abilities. That's what I'm all about. Like, it's amazing. But I'll go more into like what Guage actually does. But like that's kind of my history in Guage, like why I love the mechanic so much, because I just like the idea of the transforming kind of mechanic, making my kind of subpar character into something like amazing.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
It's probably easier. If basically for Guage and everything I've done, I've never really used it until probably this year properly. where I've actually started like expanding into characters and stuff. I think when 7th Cross was coming out though, Dejanette was like going to be the character I was going to play. So it was one of those ones where like that I was interested in that specific character from the set. So like, I was enjoying like the idea of gauging out multiples of them and stuff like that and using the abilities and stuff. I thought it was cool, but I've just never really put much effort into it until like more recent times where I've been trying to build like noob for people, and then I had like the Amy and stuff like that. So I've been doing it a wee bit more now, but initially it was a kind of missed keyword for me probably.
I kind of get that. Like when Guage came out, there was such hype basically around about our community for this kind of mechanic. I know Scott was right into it. Emma built Salinka. A few of the Edinburgh guys built decks based off Guage. And not to say that like if a new set comes out I'm not interested in building the character, but I will take a step back and I'll like you see it in more group chats, like people set gets announced, people are like, oh dibs this character. I'm like, right, cool, Connor's gonna be building Goro. I'm gonna give Goro a pass for a bit. Until he gets bored with it and then I'll see what I can do. So that kinda happened with Guage, and all the characters I was interested in quickly evaporated, other than Taysai. But Taysai, I don't think it was the Guage, it was the, oh I've got 2 health.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this oh, what is this? This is like the polar opposite to what you call it, Splash Women. Like you have no health instead of losing a health. You still at 8 hand size. All it took was one game against a Scorpion player, and I'm like, I'm never playing Taysai again because you can't win that game. But yeah, I kind of bypassed Guage on the initial release. Like, wouldn't be for like a month or 2 after that I built up Joffrey and Joffrey and Tunnelus, which you'll better know that Tunnelus deck is Emma's Jet deck. But yeah, I was happy with the mechanic. It was interesting to see Jasko add something to the game. Obviously they've changed the border, they've changed the frame layout, they've added IPs, they added their own IP. They made the cards prettier, and now obviously changing the name. But Guage is like the first real mechanic that they've brought in that's changed the game. Obviously I can go into like talk about other things that they've done, like when you see a Goro card, every Goro card's going to have all fire air. Like in the past you wouldn't have had that. It'd have been like maybe 2 symbols and then the last symbol would be more a reflection of what the card itself is. But I can understand how that would have been a nightmare in the past to test opposed to how easy it must be now. Not saying UFS is an easy game to test in the slightest, but so if I'm not mistaken, Guage is the first. Sorry, I'm talking absolute crap, guys. Seal, face down foundations, like properly being face down foundations. In the past, there'd be abilities that made face downs, and it might make a face down and say this is treated as a foundation. But Jasko, as far as I know, is the first one that's really like coined face down foundations.
Okay.
And sealing. And now Guage, unless I'm forgetting something. So yeah, it was nice to see more mechanics coming out of this game that's been going for like God knows how long, over a decade at this point. But didn't exactly blow me out of the water.
Fair enough. Obviously, that's your guys' opinions. I'll like let's say for me, Guage is the mechanic right now. Like when something Guage comes out, I'm right in there. What is it? What's happening? Guage? Let me try. Let me see what's happening.
I'm pretty sure. Sorry to interrupt you, Scott. I'm pretty sure Safe and EX were also Jasko. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm sitting here like racking my brain.
No, fair enough. So like for there, like so, we spoke about obviously it came in 7th Cross, right? So what actually is Guage? How does it actually work? Oh, my phone's going to walk. I'm back, people. Don't worry. It's not going to sit, is it? No.
Right. Well, Scott tinkers with his phone. Guage is it's a new enhance. Well, I'm saying a new enhance. It's an enhanced keyword. an enhanced keyword ability that you'll find in your card. It's normally associated with a rating, and the text. Do you have the actual like LGR text there? That'd be better than me.
I'll pull it up now. Right, so Guage grants the ability to enhance. If this attack deals X or more damage, you may search your deck and discard pile for a character card that shares a name with the starting character and add it to your staging area. X equals the rating on the Guage keyword granting this ability.
There we go.
That is the text for it.
So basically shorthand, if you use the Guage enhance, you need to do whatever the X value is of damage at least to tutor either discard pile or deck for a copy, another copy of your starting character or another character with the same name. For example, like Scorpion 1 and Scorpion 2. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that even if you pull the character from your discard pile, you still need to shuffle your deck because both game zones will have been technically searched. So if you if you've somehow managed to like stack a 6 on top of your deck and then your Guage triggers fired, that 6 is going to get shuffled back in.
Which is like, it's interesting you mention that because that's something that a lot of people just bypass.
I'm pretty glad for bypassing it, especially if the top of my deck is hidden knowledge, like it's not been modified in any sort of way, and I'm pulling a character from my bin. The first thing I'll do, especially in a tournament setting, is ask my opponent. I'm like, hey, I'm going to like engage in this character. Like, do you want me to shuffle? I'm pretty sure it came up when I played Zolt against you at that last event where we were at. And I'm like, if you want me to shuffle, I'll shuffle. Like, it's no problem.
Yeah, it makes no difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't want to be wasting settings on the clock, kind of thing.
But, well, that's another thing. Like, it can be used to waste time. But I'm not going to go into that because that's gone into that's opening cans of worms.
It's competitive play.
Right, so Guage, you enhance Guage 4. If you do 4 damage or more, you get another character. Like, it's funny that you mentioned as well that all the characters you were looking at got stolen at the start, like, because I just remember watching, I think I came up to your flat and you were playing Tournelis.
Yeah.
And then I seen Iron Knuckle and you were like, yeah, watch this, 8.
Next
Right off the bat, I was like, I'm playing that.
Yeah. That is... Like, I got some time, man. Like, I played in every release event we had. I managed to draft a few of the characters and mess about with them. And I just kind of took a back seat. Like, I've got all the time in the world to brew, and people lose interest in characters. Like, there's people now that I've still not touched because they still get talked about actively, locally. I think the big one's Eugenia. That one's a little bit out of spite though, because there's a certain someone that keeps saying to me they can't wait to see what I do with Eugenia. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to build that character. Like, I'm going to build that on my terms when I want to, not because you can't be asked doing the research yourself.
Yep. Quite right.
Sorry that person, because you'll know who you are.
Not quite right, like, 'cause, well, not to blow your trumpet or anything, but you're probably one of the best deck builders. In fact, you're the best deck builder in Scotland, what am I saying? Like,
I wouldn't say that, man. Scotland's a big place. There's going to be some random wee guy in Iron who like, buys his stuff by Bearded, so he doesn't have a local, so couldn't even reach out to the local.
He probably found my Goro up the mountain to get him into the game.
Aye, exactly. Like, there's always somebody else there, and like, as much as I think I'm good now, the guys that I played with when I was kind of coming up, especially growing up, like Stevie Boyle, Duncan Tang, God's sake, can't remember his name, but I knew him as Kenshin. I should really remember this guy's name because he's on my Facebook. These guys were all great deck builders, and these were people that I kind of admired and learned from growing up. God, man, if Connor got to see like what Stevie was doing with Hugo years before Goro was ever a thing, like Hugo 3 Dot, man, needed banned as soon as it was printed. But it's a different subject.
Well, like, you've obviously, I recognise one name there, Duncan Tang. Like, he was a World of Warcraft champion. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he was a champion at whatever he touched.
but pretty much like and he was a fantastic Magic player as well. Like, so I know what you're saying, but like, I'm talking about right now. Like, in the open community, like, you're probably the best deck builder out there. So like, people wanting to see what you're up to does. I get that.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of these people. I want to see what you're up to as well, so that I can steal it.
You're normally the first person to see what I'm up to, because I need to message you, like, am I wasting my time with this? So, like, does this work?
That looks brilliant, mate. And you're like, aye, fucking bid.
Then you rummaging in the background.
That's pish now. Scott thinks it's good. No, definitely. Anyway, back to Guage.
Back to Guage, mate.
What were we saying? We've discussed what it is.
Discuss what it is.
So, like, obviously 7th Cross, right, that was obviously to test the water, I think, when Guage first came out. And then our next character that came in the form of Suzaku for Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yep.
And this is where things started to kind of change just that wee bit. So Suzaku then brought Guage attacks with a lower Guage rating than its printed damage.
Yeah.
Now in 7th Cross there's 0 in there, there's none.
It's worth noting, in 7th Cross, as much as all the Guage attacks had equal damage, we did have Eugenia had a spam foundation that could modify a Guage rating.
Yes.
And we had Joffrey, what I say it was, had a 5-diff attack that you could pitch your card to minus a Guage rating by 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would become Guage free. So I think these are the earliest signs of the Guage rating not being exactly equal to printed damage. But,
How many times have you ever seen them used?
I played the Joffrey attack in my first Joffrey build.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
Okay.
And I've seen the Eugenia spam played in Eugenia. And one, what you call noob cybot, but that's it. Yeah, it definitely, like, they're not impactful enough, especially when we move on to talking about Suzaku's attacks.
Well, like, so Suzaku's attacks, like, the staple that always makes it right. So my Guage characters just now are Turnless, Remless, because I play Air. Air's my symbol. Death's my symbol as well. Like, those are the two symbols I always gravitate towards. But Air, obviously Suzaku brought his stuff, and like his common throw is ridiculous.
Yep.
Absolutely ridiculous. 4 diff, Guage 3, 4 damage throw that gives itself +3 damage, because more often than not you're going to have one character in your staging area and one character in your discard pile, more often than not.
Yep.
And like, we didn't really find out until
it was Nationals last year, right?
Yeah, so we didn't really find out until Nats that's how it ruled, and it was Shane that got that clarified, that it was either or. Because like, I'd always thought it was either 2 characters in your staging area or 2 characters in your discard pile. It's not like 1 and 1.
Yeah.
So like, that kind of changed the game. And that's like a staple, because more often than not you're going to hit that 4 damage, because 7 damage halved is 4.
As much as you're saying that it changed the game, sorry guys, as much as you're saying it changed the game, I think it really shows you a testament of how weak the 7th Cross Guage attacks are in comparison to this pro. Because this pro, I would argue, was already a staple, even if it only counted 2 in bin or 2 in play.
Oh, 100%.
It was already a staple in those symbols, and now it's Like, it's just better. Like, there's no reason not to play it other than if you badly can't afford the no block. Like, that's the only argument you can make against it. But hey, how many no blocks do you need to be playing at that stage? You can't afford to give this up.
Yeah.
That you cannot.
It doesn't find space because of it. Yeah.
So like that's where we kind of then like we see Storm of Torment. Storm of Torment's Gauge 4, but it's a 5 damage print. It's printed 5 damage. Like you put a couple of damage on that, and you're gonna get your Gauge 4. Plus the fact that it already can get a character in and clear itself from pool. So like that's where we kind of start seeing the power creeps kind of thing. After that we got Amy's stuff.
As much as you're saying power creep, I know that in this video we're going to talk a lot about like how this stuff just by far outshines the 7th cross gauge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's power creep though, because I feel as though the 7th cross stuff is just underpowered by the way it is. Like, it's the fact that it requires normally the attack to go unblocked, or you need to pump the damage or significant more. When most people use the term power creep, you're meaning like, I don't know if you've seen like a 4 low for 4, a 4 diff 4 low for 4, or 3 low for 4, whatever Nutcracker is. And then you see Nutcracker. Nutcracker's definitely a power creep version of that original, because it's going to give you full damage, it's going to draw your card, etc. This Gauge stuff is just, realistically looking at it, it feels like what Gauge should have always been.
Oh, like I totally get it. Maybe power creeps are wrong word that I'm using.
I'm just saying about the negative context of power creep.
Fair enough.
Random tangent.
It's definitely a power increase from 7th cross.
Yeah, it's finding the balance, I think, from what was like underusable to what's now actually a playable card, basically.
Because 9 times out of 10, I will look at the newer Gauge stuff before I look at 7th cross Gauge stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like I said, like I think on those symbols like Air, Evil, Order, if I'm playing something Gauge, I'll look at the Suzaku attacks first because I think they're great. But I've never played Suzaku, which is funny. But then for there, like we got Amy.
Yep.
And then so Amy brought with Albion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now we didn't obviously talk about this in the preamble because I think that it was a thing. Albion brought in something pretty cool, I thought. I'm just going to pull it up here.
Being able to give something Gauge 3 in it.
Yep. Decommit, get Gauge 3.
And then plus
minus difficulty
plus damage to the next attack equal to characters.
Right, so like I think your attack gains Gauge 3. Like, so any attack you're playing gains Gauge 3. This is where things are starting to kind of I mean, I've never really used it, but
we kind of seen your attack gains Gauge, but albeit that was Taysai. He could give his attack Gauge 1.
Yeah.
But I definitely get what you're saying here. Like, Taysai was limited, and obviously he had to Gauge, so they had to give him something. But now this is a case of any character can go here. I'm slapping Gauge onto this attack. I say any character on the Amy symbols. But definitely Albion is a bit of a game changer for the Gauge style of decks. And that brings us on to another game changer, right? Once they finally hit the UK, we're going to have a moment of rest.
Yep.
Like, it's not as reusable as Albion, but it is a spam foundation. It's just a wee one diff that you can chuck out there. And without even touching on does this make 7th cross characters more viable? It's going to make any character that wants to Gauge more viable. Like, I'll give up a few card slots to this like one diff that says I get to Gauge, and I get to decide when to use it on which attack to guarantee it's getting in.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like that is literally the card. I think that like you've got as like Scott said earlier, like Chung-Li's and stuff like that are non-gauge, like technically like non-gaugeable characters as such, like off the kind of typical meta from it, to now being like, oh, that's actually a viable card now. Like you don't have to like pure hard check out a character card. You've now got that option.
You don't need to be running attacks off your strategy. You don't need to be. You can just, here, I'm going to chuck this Guage in. But sorry, Scott, you were talking about the Amy support.
Yeah, right, so you got Albion, and then obviously Amy brought in some attacks as well that the gauge rating was below printed damage.
Yep, I believe all of Amy's attacks are half.
Yep.
Like, that's ridiculous. I'm just going to pull them up because I don't actually have them up for some reason.
I kind of feel that's the way Guage should have been though. Guage should have been okay, you partial blocked me. Like, what do I do? I'm still going to get this in. Like, you need to fully block. Let's face it, if it was a normal attack, then there'd be some sort of punishment for partial blocking. And it's not as though... No. Guage attacks are throwing a bit of hefty damage now, but like, I'm not particularly scared of like a 4-3 low for 5 reversal, when that reversal could have been significantly bigger. Albeit it's probably going to be bigger, man. Like, it's in order, you're probably playing order, so you're going to have like out... can't remember it. 2 diff that like gives 2/2. Grow, foundation, you know it.
Oh, god damn it.
You're going to have things to make it better.
The one with the big long
outcasts.
That's aye. Big long name one. No, I know.
So,
but then, right, so this comes into, right, like, how do they balance it? Like, I know you're saying like a normal attack's gonna have punishments if you partial it, right? It's gonna have something else to kind of stop you from partialing.
I'm not necessarily saying it needs to be on every attack, man. But...
No, obviously not. Aye. But that then you need to look at every other character that's going to gauge well. Like, I mean, we've spoken. I mean, you've built a deck that is not technically a gauge character and stuff. But then you need to start balancing those guys as well off of these attacks.
But like, you're saying that you need to balance those guys that might potentially want to gauge off these attacks, but the next time they release a throw that has the fire symbol, surely that's balanced thinking about Goro. Surely that's balanced thinking about everybody else in that symbol. Like, this is... I know that
really?
Guage adds a layer, but there needs to be... like, I've got Barrier Frost sitting here behind me, right? But surely they can't print a Void stun attack that does something with discarding cards, because it's just instant auto-include for Sub-Zero. It's just going to make Sub-Zero better.
I totally. I totally. However, it's still a relatively young mechanic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's baby. It's a baby. And I don't think they know the full potential that it could have. Like, I'm just going to keep going back to what I know, right? Because it's what I know and what I play. But we probably all know that if Remulus gets 3 to 4 characters out, she's very, very difficult to kill.
Skill mate, bang. Dies to bang.
Dies to bang. Aye, she does. She'll do a lot of characters. A lot of characters die to bang.
Yeah.
But the strength of the strength of the likes of Remulus comes in consistency of getting her characters out.
Yeah.
Like that's like once she has 3 or 4, she's very, very difficult to kill and she can do a lot of damage. The likes of Turnus is the consistency. If he consistently gets those characters out, he's very difficult to kill and he's very dangerous.
So, do you think the issue then isn't really in how quickly these characters can, if they get the chance to get characters next? Do you think the issue then becomes how simple it can be to tutor your deck for certain items or certain parts? Like, if you take that Cassandra deck that got her big attack ban, Shield Big Bang,
Yep.
that deck that got that ban, how many assets, like, Cassandra's once per turn for her ability, like when you check an asset, but how quickly could that deck get assets into play, which then made it a problem? Like, if that deck could only get one asset into play every 4 turns, was Shield Big Bang the issue? Like, that deck would have had to be more, like, super more defensive to get that on board. Is there, like, some sort of issue we think with Guage, or do you think these characters are just fine because they take time to set up? Like, in the same time it takes you to set up how to kill somebody with Remorse because you've got, like, 4 characters in play and you're doing your shenanigans looting them, surely you could have just died to a Kendit that takes turn 2 to set up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But then that's where obviously having Guage equal printed damage makes it obviously difficult to set up. So having like less damage for Guage to triggers, it just makes it very easy.
But that seems to be the design space we're going into. Like, since 7th Cross, we've had, what, 1 Guage attack printed that has equal damage, and that's the Noobside Box rule, which is a throw, and it triggers, or you get to Princess Parry effect style by putting the noob up, then playing the throw, and you flip the noob to make it 10 damage, so it's going to do the 5 anyway.
Yep.
Maybe this is the design space Jaskell's looking into now, because in the past it was too difficult to get Guage to file. Like,
maybe.
Was there any majors between 7th Cross releasing and... Was there any majors between 7th Cross releasing to UU releasing that didn't see a Guage character do really well other than Salinka? Because she's the only one I can think of that done well in that time.
Yeah, like Salinka's the only one.
I think the only other one was Dejanet, yeah.
But Dejanet wasn't necessarily doing the Guage stuff, but what I remember, like, it was there, but she was just kind of playing good stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe they've looked at that tournament data and went, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out something it was a last minute decision of, hey, let's drop the grade rating here, here and here by 1. Like, update the image files before they go to the printer and see what happens.
Yeah, man, like, aye.
I would love to get confirmation from this. Like, if Tim wants to message me and be like, aye guys, you nailed it, then...
Secret safe.
Secret safe.
Yeah, no, I think that would be very interesting to find out, like, in the sense of it, that it's like, is there like a plan for it going forward where they're going to tweak it a wee bit between sets, so it does something maybe slightly different each time, but still stays true.
The current plan seemingly going forward is Guage is an order keyword. Outside the 7th Cross, every other Guage attack that's been printed has order.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
What are you going to do, Scott, man? You'll need to start playing a different symbol.
Nah, I mean, I've just got a new throw. Well, it's not a throw, but I've got a new attack in the form of Wen.
Oh wait, yeah, I totally forgot.
I forgot
Wen's a
about
Guage
Wen.
character, right?
Yep, forgot about Wen.
It's because the Bebop DLC still hasn't showed up here. It doesn't exist in the back of my mind. It doesn't exist in Parcel Force mind either.
New attack for Wen, like, happy. I'm all good.
Couldn't even tell you what it does off the top of my head, man.
It's Guage 3, mate.
Wait. It's Guage 3, right? So it's printed diff 5? Or it's printed damage 5?
I know, but I'm sure I can make it a throw. Yeah, I'll pull it up, mate, right? Cause
you pull it up, man. You tell us what the damage is.
It's printed damage 5, aye?
Yeah, I called it.
Guage 3. If my printed hand size is less than my opponent's, I make it throw.
Aye, sorted, mate. It's
right in Limitless slot.
Aye.
Just it's all evil. Put it in Tumulus. I'm happy, mate. I'm all good.
Aye.
Coming in. Because Tournalis makes it a throw himself, not
Turner's
Socky.
still there. Well, that's it, man. I think this is just going to be the future of the Guage characters. We're getting, at some point, we've got the 7th Cross DLC confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if these characters come with like their attack being in that bracket of like half the damage as your Guage rating. It just seems to be this design space. Like,
Do you know what? I hope so. I hope so, mate. Fingers crossed.
it doesn't need to be that way for everything, man. Like, but I'm okay with it. Like,
Right, I'm gonna just keep things going now. So we've kind of discussed what we've got. I think have we been through everything? You kind of you mentioned Noob. Noob was obviously the latest Mortal Kombat, and you can get 4 copies of Noob. So he's kind of a Guage character. And then we've got Wen.
when cares about starting characters.
Yeah, Wen's like the proper one.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that he's the proper one. So I kind of want to talk about characters that we can abuse in a way. For instance, I'm going to talk about your Wily deck.
All right, okay.
Or you can talk about your Wily deck. It was meant to be super top secret. It was going to Nats.
It was going to Nats, man, and then Randall happened. Sorry, I say Randall happened. It was
man.
it was Kuwabara happened. I was going to be Kuwabara until we played in that the impromptu tournament, and I didn't want to play Kuwabara because Alan was. So I played Randall, and I smashed him with Randall, and I'm like, okay, maybe Randall's got to Nats. But aye. So I had this Wily deck. The Wily deck came about because Emma was playing Salinka, and I noticed how many Salinka stuff cared about allies, and then Council's an ally for some reason. Well, I understand that it's the soul's the ally, but I had this keyword, and I'd been messing about with Wily in the past, like ages ago. Couldn't tell you when. Never really done anything with it. So I think we traded, so we ended up with 2 sets of Moon Ritual Dance? Ritual Moon Dance?
Yep,
can't
Moon
remember
Ritual
the card.
Moon Dance.
Two sets of that. Traded some stuff to Connor for like his Skull Fortresses he had spell.
Yeah.
And I put this Wily deck together. Went out my way to get 4 foil Wilies. And I remember taking it to, I think we were going to Lanark. It had been Nightly Gaming. And it was meant to be this kind of casual event because it was Nightly's first tournament. And I'm like, I'm going to take, I think I played a Ryu deck that day.
Yeah.
But in my downtime, I'm like, somebody want to give me a game with my Wily deck. And it just flew. Like, everything worked perfectly. I'd never realised in the past that Wily's response allowed you to look at your momentum in your opponent's turn and put something to hand. So you were able to hit them with a Dispelling Horn and your own turn, and then when it gets to theirs, you rebuild your momentum and you get to add an ally attack back to your hand. So you bring back the Dispelling Horn, which is a reversal. And I basically stacked Wily's. I played Guage Wily with Salinka support, mostly because I was able to cheat in Skull Fortress from my discard pile with Moon Ritual Dance. And I couldn't have really cared too much otherwise about having these characters. Moon Ritual Dance was the... Is it Ritual Moon Dance or Moon Ritual Dance? Moon Ritual Dance sounds weird. Moon Dance Ritual.
Dance Ritual Moon.
Whatever. MDR.
The fast one for me, damage.
The fast one, aye.
Moon Ritual Dance.
Yeah, so like this way attack was what, 7 low 2. If you hit Wily, it's 9 low 2, and if it hits you, I get a character and you lose a foundation, a ready foundation. And then I also get to build off it as well, so you're not really losing stuff to Wily's ability. So even if you played it as your first attack, you can grab spam and then blow that spam up to Wily. If you've got 2 characters, you can now hit Skull Fortress, and you can hit other tech pieces with your bin. Yeah, man, I quite like that wee deck. I might need to build that again.
Yeah, man.
That that was definitely the first time I think you guys locally had seen someone playing Guage successfully, at least in a deck that didn't really support it otherwise.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
I want to say I wasn't the only one tinkering with it. I'm pretty sure Keenan Meadows shared a deck list at some point. I already commented in one of your videos about it. But
No, fair enough. And then, like, so obviously recently as well, we've had SoulCal, we've had Weed Brussels, and now we're getting 2 sets of DLC SoulCal, and from there we're getting repeat characters.
so it's funny you bring up the fact we've got repeat characters now. So we've got the option for, like, you can stack Callum, you can stack Cervantes, you can.
Yep.
Because I got questioned not too long ago about why did I stack Cervantes, or why did I stack Cervantes 1 and 2 in my Cervantes 2 dot deck, but I don't do the same for Talon. And the main question, or the main answer to that is, I was already playing, is it Admission, is Dejanette's attack? Affliction?
Affliction, yeah.
Affliction.
Yep.
I should really learn attack names. I'm already playing Affliction and Cervantes 2 dot because that card literally says, when you combo that with Cervantes, it says, destroy 1 foundation or I get to draw 2 cards. Because you put a card for your hand at middle and then pop it and draw 2.
Yep.
I was already playing that, like, this is a cheeky wee attack. Nobody wants to block 2 damage, so it's going to make me momentum. And it basically gets to pot of greed me. Not exactly pot of greed, it leaves me 1 card up, but still. And while I was leaving the deck up, I was like, hey, I'm playing 4 copies of this random Guage attack. Let's just chuck in a Cervantes 1 dot. But when it came to Talon, and I was building the Talon deck, and I was looking, there was no Guage attacks on symbol that I gave 2 flyings about. Like, I'm not going to run a character just for the sake of... I'm not going to play an attack that's not helping me for the sake of, oh, maybe I can get this character out. Originally I toyed with the idea of just hard checking a character, but that seems pointless nowadays. Like, if you're going to play a character, Guage it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because as you mentioned, Talon, that's kind of like similar when I started building Talon. Like, I was playing the 2 dot, and then I had like 1 copy of the 1 dot, and it was just, I could hard check it out or moment of rest it out, basically, was the game plan for that. Otherwise, it played no part in the deck though. It was just a kind of like win more kind of card.
Oh yeah, it's a 6 check there, and it's a block if you need it. It's just kind of the way I treat Cervantes. My Cervantes 1 dot ends up in momentum more often than not, because people don't want to block their foundations.
Fair enough. Like, but so I'm going to we'll just go with the Cervantes, right? So benefits, right? Your benefits for getting if you put your Cervantes into play, is a major benefit, because for me, if I'm playing 2 dot, then 1 dot isn't going to gain me a lot.
Yeah, man, like...
It doesn't change my game plan at 2 dot.
Yeah, it doesn't change my game plan at all. You get the kind of passive bonus of if you block something, you're going to come in harder next turn. But normally when I come in, people are like, it's too fast or they can't answer. So the bonus isn't really there. I think you just, for the lack of a better way to describe it, it's done for swag. This is the way that I fully explain, not what I belittled or deck building, because they would have put effort into it, but the triple stack Akuma deck that came out of TCGU, like, we had a guy try to do it locally and he was having no success with it, and I'm like, the deck looks okay, but it's done for swag, that's it, like, there's no need.
Yeah.
It's the same equivalent of teabagging your opponent in COD. It's that's probably the wrong way to describe it, sorry guys.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is the wrong way to describe it. Like,
it's entirely the perfect example to bring up is like the whole, do you forcibly gauge something just because you can with some of these characters as well?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure I had a game against Adam where Cervantes 1 became so valuable. The game went long and I found I wasn't really getting in for damage. So that ability to destroy a foundation, to burn them for 2 if he blocks, like, that started whittling away at him. But that's like one occurrence out of like 10, 20 games. It's not going to come up all the time. How about you guys? Have you unnecessarily gauged anywhere?
No, recently, and I don't think I've got any, well, unnecessarily, right, well, after your Wiley deck,
Oh yeah, come on, Wiley deck.
after your Wiley deck, I seen,
The
obviously,
pro deck builder.
pro deck builder, carbon copy, different character, exact same deck, boom.
No, mate, that deck should be called nothing like Wiley.
and Instrol's Andy, man, and I was like, oh, here, check this out. Like, I can do the exact same thing with you done, like, and I can just start getting mad speed and damage on my stuff, like, and it works, kinda.
I think it
no
works better when you don't try to put White House and Skull Fortress into play at the same time.
well, that's true, mate. That's true. I'll agree with you there. It's one or the other, isn't it? No, like, it does. It works. At 4 Andes come in, I can get some good speed and damage on my Moon Rituals. Scarlet Meteors, I can get some good speed and damage on my Scarlet Meteors because of it. That's what's going to obviously bring in my Skull Fortress.
Yeah.
But, it's good fun. I would like to build it in person when the DLC when the DLC comes and try it out in person, because we all know that it's different in person than playing on TTS, because we all hate TTS. It's terrible.
I think it's worth mentioning something here at the moment, because obviously I stacked Wileys, like 4 Wiley, you've stacked 4 Randy. It's multiple copies of the same character. Like, just for the newer people that are watching or even listening to this, you don't gain abilities off of a character that is the same as one you have in play. So like, if I had 4 Wileys in play, I wouldn't have access to my enhance 4 times. It would need to be a separate instance of Wiley. Similar like how it would need to be a separate Andy that was in play. You can do stuff with like Spike 1 and Spike 2, and you'll get the enhances of both and you get the resources of both, but your hand size and your vitality don't change from what they are at the time that you play that character. So you wouldn't gain health for like playing a bigger health character out. That's just in case any of the newer people are confused by why would you put 4 of the same character in your deck, never mind into play.
Yeah. No, good pick up. It's funny we didn't mention Spike actually.
I totally forgot about him.
But then that's because, well, I don't think they don't complement each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
They don't complement each other at all. So there's 0 point. We've got things like, we've got Astroth coming later on.
Yep.
Raphael will be coming. He'll be possible.
Well, Raphael's here. Raphael's out.
Oh.
Yep.
Is he? I got a Raphael?
You better have a Raphael. Either that or you're buying a new DLC.
Right, okay.
The ones coming are like Astroth and like Song Mina and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're going to see Song Mina. For what I remember, the Song Mina seems worthwhile to gauge.
Yeah.
She also cares about weapons and does some stuff. Astroth, I don't know. I think that Astroth deck is just going to be fine by itself.
Yeah.
I think if you're Astroth 1, you want Astroth 2. And if you're Astroth 2, you couldn't care. Like,
yeah, you're already made.
I kind of feel that the Raphaels have a bit of a similar thing, where there's no real point gauging with Raphael. Which is funny given that like he's in order, so he's in the perfect symbol for gauge shenanigans.
We've got Tira coming.
Tira.
Like,
I'm pretty sure Adam will try and gauge Tira.
Yeah.
I'm still not happy that the Tira big attack isn't a reprint of the old Foundation. Because when the spoilers came up, then like all the notifications come in and someone's like, oh, Abyss Minuit is bust. And I'm like, yes it is. This has been known for many years. And then it was an attack, not a Foundation. If you've not seen it, Connor, you should check out the original.
I'll have to look up the
is,
original.
like, actually filth, man.
Fair.
I think any other characters that I've gauged in, but
No, I don't think so. But then again, like, these characters are not designed to be gauged.
oh yeah, definitely. Like, it's not characters that you'd normally see. Like, if somebody was playing, like, I don't know, Guage, Jackie Briggs, you'd be a bit surprised. Like, there's no game there that we know of.
Coming in.
Coming
Coming in, mate. On, I don't know, on life. Iron Knuckle.
Iron Knuckle, Guage, Jackie Briggs. Cool, man. It's quite, like, for me, Guage is quite funny. Like, when Guage came out, it was interesting. Like, I build everything. Like, I think away pretty much whatever I can. Like, my private UFScotland is insane, where, like, half abandoned decks. But I never really thought it would be that big an impact, or have the big impact that it had in the game. I don't know if that's... I'm saying big impact, like... I get a lot more newer players talking to me about Guage, or being really interested and intrigued by Guage, than, like... I don't think Big Dan's showed any interest in Guage other than Amy. It's just something that I think a lot of the other people, at some point in their, for lack of a better way to describe it, career of playing UFS, have tinkered with starting characters and abandoned the idea. Like, my first deck that I started with was an Astroth deck, and then I went to playing Ken for a bit, and I went back to Astroth because I got a copy of his Ultra Rare character, and that deck would play like one of the Ultra Rare and two of the other Astroth 1-dots in my deck, so I could hard play them. It was the same when I played Alba. Like, I would play Alba 3-dot in my character, or 2-dot in my character, and I'd play 2 of 1-dot and 2 of the other. Just because I could. And I don't know, maybe it's years of that. Maybe in a few years' time, Scott, you'll have the same opinion as me, and there'll be some new mechanic that you're like, oh, I don't mind. It's, yeah, you children go and play with it, and I'll get around to it eventually.
Maybe.
It's,
I also think, like, maybe there's a lot of, maybe the newer players that come into your community see me doing it as well, like, because I talk it up.
mate, I could actually almost repeat word for word the exact same conversation I've had about stacking scorpions with about 6 different people in the Scottish community. And it's just kind of like, I think I'm now at the stage where I'm like, go and talk to Scott. Like,
Aye. Nah, mate, just don't bother. It's not worth it.
aye,
It's not worth it.
the same gain you could get, you could be doing something else with your time.
Aye. But I don't. Maybe it's because I think the scorpion thing seems. I don't know the words for it, man.
Scorpion for the MK set is already so good. Adding more to it must be insane.
Aye.
Is that
Pretty
kind of
aye.
the mentality, right?
Aye.
I can go straight to desperation, but then I'm sitting in the corner, or my opponent's like, I can go straight to desperation. By blowing up a foundation as my first one, but if you just cut yourself on my turn and don't block, you'll be in desperation. Like, boom,
Yeah.
problem solved. Or take
Uh,
characters out and run his wee foundation. Blood for blood, does it? The one that gives him the ability again. It's like lose 2 life. Like, yeah, man, every attack you can, ping that. If you want to be in desperation, you ping that, and you just make sure you kill me that turn you come in. It's... I don't know. Let me block with a reduction. You'll be in desperation.
no, thank you. No, thank you. No, you're right. Like, I think, but like I say, Scorpion is pretty new player friendly, making them better or giving them something extra. Aye,
Yeah.
you're right, mate. I think that's what it is. And then I bang on about Guage, thinking it's the best thing since sliced bread, and people overhear me and they're like, "What's Guage? Can I stack characters?" Aye.
It's the... I remember getting a game with the budget Ermac deck that I've got built up, and it was just kind of something simple. The deck's not great, and It was against a newer player, and they questioned having multiple characters in your deck. So you have to like, pause and explain to them that, oh yeah, you can have characters, they're just blocks, but if you're the same name, you get to do this. And that's when the eyes light up, and it's like, oh wow, and I'm like, nah man.
It's not the be all and end all. Just play somebody that doesn't Guage and learn what's happening.
Just play Ken. You don't need to Guage
Try,
Ken.
play Ken. Go check out my Ken deck. You player friendly. Take out some cards and it's budget friendly as well. You're sorted.
So here's a question for you, right? Is there any characters in Standard that you think should have been a Guage character? Obviously let's ignore stuff like Mad Parole or Heidi, any character that already cares about stacking. Just write them off. Is there any in Standard that you're like, yeah, how come they want a Guage? It's a bit of a hard one, it just came to my head, so don't feel obligated to answer.
Nah, I don't go into, see a lot of people would go into lore and stuff like that and background of the actual character from their source and go, I think that should have been a stacking character because X. I don't really care about what their names are and what pictures it is on the card. Give me it mate, I don't care. I think the only thing that I've got a real connection with probably Soulcal because I played Soulblade on the PS1 and I'm still gutted I've not got a Lee Long, you know what I mean, for Soulblade. give me something old school. So no, I don't think so.
I think the only two
Lizard.
characters
He's a big Lizard fan because there was many of them.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking stuff like that, like, why was it Amy? Why did Amy get Guage?
Why did Amy get Guage? I don't even know.
It's like, is there a lore behind it at all?
No that I know.
Okay. Is she very fast?
Oh yeah, she's Raphael. She's female Raphael.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, Amy means, but like, it's true.
She's very fast, so it looks like there's 4 of her at the same time.
Okay. Fair dues, man.
No, I don't think so,
it's
mate.
just a weird one. Is there any characters coming up you hope have Guage? Magical Christmas Land, right? Any license on the table?
Any license on the table?
We're saying any license, right? Any reasonable license. Like, for the lack of a better way to describe it, man, like, we're quite open-ended. We are universal. We can bring anything in. We don't cause a fucking controversy when we try to bring The Walking Dead into our game.
I mean, like, Sophie, I mean, obviously there's many fighting games I would love them to resurrect, but that's because it's fighting games I played way back in the day. So, if I'd say, let's get a bloody roar set in, that's perfect for Guage. Perfect. Hugo the Wolf, coming in. Alice the Rabbit, yes. I'm all over that. Coming into, I think, obviously My Hero's the big one. Coming into My Hero, I'm wondering if we'll see a Tokuyami Guage, because he's got Dark Shadow, but I don't know if there'll be different word, maybe like Heidi wording, maybe?
Maybe.
Stack Dark Shadow as if it shared a name. Like, I think that's about the only thing I can think of. Or what's the teacher called? The teacher guy, what's his name?
What one?
The one that he makes multiple copies of himself, makes all a ghost of himself.
Oh, I can picture him as well. I wouldn't know the name though. I'm horrendous for the names of the...
I'm going to have to look him up now,
Aye.
Mate, I struggle with Bayako and Bakugo.
He's the wee teacher that's got the trench coat into it and everything. Is it that one?
You can talk, I think that's it. This is terrible. Call myself a My Hero fan.
Like,
but
I think characters I would have thought about would have been kind of like Ermac and Quan Chi at the time. Like, because there can be so many people. Like, you can imagine stacking the characters to kind of justify that. obviously they kind of do their own thing pre-Guage as such, but I think they would have been like the perfect examples for stuff like that.
Yeah, if we ever see somebody like Shang Tsung, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Shang Tsung's able to kind of become a character for like a turn or two. Maybe not to the level that Quan Chi could just, like, in this one combat phase, I'm going to be two different characters. Obviously, original Quan Chi was significantly worse.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me, there was an old 12 or 12, I don't even know, man, the weird alien looking
white
thing
guy.
from Street Fighter.
Aye.
Aye,
The
that-
white guy.
Is it 12?
Aye.
I don't know, man. He
Aye.
used to have an action back in the day that let him be your opponent's character, but he had to discard the momentum each turn to keep it in play. Like, that kind of stuff's funky. Like, I don't know if we'd see maybe Shang Tsung come in with something like that. Maybe it needs to be characters from his own deck, but he needs to, like, I don't know, lose his health while beating them or something. Definitely a limit on it so we don't get any repeats of Quan Chi.
Yeah. There definitely has to be like that balancing issue completely covered
Yeah, man.
before it even hits the table. But no, that'd be quite interesting if it got, even if it was like you had to like discard momentum each turn as a form to do it or something like that. Like, yeah, that'd be quite interesting. Because I think it could potentially be on the cards to get an MK11 potentially. Like,
I don't even think that's a question at this stage, man. I think
Yeah.
like, it's going to happen.
where I feel as if, like, especially with like how that story played out, he has to be in the set, like,
Yeah.
because of the DLC and stuff.
Do you find it, Scott?
Aye, ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm?
Oh, how did we no guess?
I don't
Aye, I
know.
know.
It
Do you know
sounds too Ghostbusters.
We need it. We need an All Might 2 where it's just his wee skinny scraggly self. Start Kim. But anything else coming that? Nah,
Anyone?
no idea. They could go anywhere, mate. They could go anywhere.
Yeah.
A new Red Horizon. They could bring in something, somebody completely new. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could have game.
I kind of hope for the next Red Horizon we get a Heidi that's in one of our mechs for the start, and she's able to gauge. But we'll see.
Aye, but it's not a win condition. She just turns
Yeah,
into
it's
the
not a win
ultimate, like a. He's like a new Omnial kind of thing with Heidi.
Yeah.
She's in. She becomes a Megazord and batters everybody. Iron Knuckle. Keep as long as Iron Knuckle's a care of me.
As long as Iron Knuckle gets a reprint.
That's it, man. Iron Knuckle, new Nutcracker. You heard it here. Yeah, it is in this video. Because remember, kids, Nutcracker can't come in 12 low for 12, but Iron Knuckle can come in for 12 high for 12, know what I'm saying?
Mate, you've clearly not played enough against Cassie. That Nutcracker's coming in at whatever stats I need. Like, I don't care if I'm 10 into progressive, mate, that's coming in.
But it's not, you can't, no first cared, mate. First
Aye, no
attack,
first.
4 diff. Rough. 12 high 12, coming in.
That's fine, mate.
But I think that's, isn't it? We've kind of
Wait,
we've
pretty
kind of covered.
much like top everything Guage, right? Like
Alright.
good mechanic, habits in the game. It leads to some interesting deck builds.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so wrapping up then. I'm going to be doing a Remless deck profile soon. So we can maybe, we'll maybe put links and stuff up. I'll get that done. That's the kind of the first Guage character that I want to kind of cover, because it's my baby right now that I've hardly played.
I know, man.
But so I tune in for that. Look out for it. It will be coming close to this video. Anything else you guys want to add?
That's some big. Connor's going to have this video ready to go by the weekend, mate.
That's fine.
Aye, I'm putting it up tomorrow.
Very close. I didn't say the same day.
By quite close, it means this time next month. And it'll still be here before the parcel ship. Or the parcel force delivery.
So I Remulus will be the first Guage character that I'm going to kind of cover. But feel free to shoot us any questions that you've got on Guage. Find me on Facebook. I'm normally floating in one of the Facebook groups. If you want to speak to me, I'm sure you can find one of the other guys as well if you want to speak to any of them. Yeah.
Come on.
Catch you later, guys.
Before you sign off, mate.
I'm saying aye.
Before you disappear, man, like, tell nobody catch you later. I've got a request, especially for like some of the guys down south. Obviously, lockdown and all that's crap. We're struggling to get games recorded, and let's face it, nobody likes watching TTS. Other than like Cameron and Broberg can make it watchable, man. Their commentary's great. But if any of you guys down south even have a tripod and your phone and want to record some games and send me or Connor the video footage, I'm sure me and him will sit and do commentary on it. Maybe we'll get a guest appearance by Scott. But it'd be good for us to see some games that we've already seen, and then we can sit and criticise your gameplay.
Yeah. And that doesn't even apply to just people down south, even if you're in the States watching. Like, I'd be interested in any game to watch.
That's it. We'll watch anything, as long as it doesn't go on 30 minutes and end in a draw.
Aye.
Like, if that happens, like, that's... Especially if it's not something we've watched before, like, that'd be soul-breaking.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, here's the... If Scott's making a Remulus deck, well, I'm going to then challenge myself/Michael. I think we should also make a deck that relies on Guage. And see what all three people's ideas are of that keyword. I think that'd be quite interesting to see kind of what paths we all take.
Does it need to be Remulus, or can
it can be anyone.
character?
I think it can be anyone.
Okay.
Thank God I've got that tavern built. No, I'd be quite interested to see kind of like where we all go when it comes to relying on that keyword.
Okay. I'll have a tinkle. Maybe we can put the three decks up at the same time. Yeah. Maybe like space them out and then do a wee poll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott's deck will win, so you'll get the sympathy vote. Huh? Challenge accepted, mate.
Yep.
I'm on.
Fair enough. But I'll build many if you want. I'll build what you want, mate. But aye. No, thanks for watching, guys. We've had a good time talking about this. It's been good to kind of get something going again.
Yeah.
It's hard, obviously, to get together. Oh, I mean, we are together.
Oh, yeah, aye. Aye.
I think I nodded it myself, though, but like...
But we realise that we've been neglecting the podcast, kind of. But I think because we'd rather be sitting around the same table. But if we feel that we get some content out, so this is the only way we can do it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that happened as well was the fact that we're coming out of lockdowns and stuff like that, where it was maybe a possibility, and it was like, we'll wait off, and then all the restrictions keep changing on like a weekly basis. That I think it's just got to that point where we're like, right, we're going to do something for these. We have to do something.
Yeah. So yeah, we miss everybody. Please keep in contact with us. Send us messages. Join our group chat. I mean, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for everybody.
Nah, man. Like, feel free. Like,
not for everybody's. Not everybody's taste. Everybody's taste.
It's definitely not everybody's taste, but there is a Scottish Facebook group chat, and you're more welcome to join. We've had Big Dan join. We've had a guy for the States joined at some point. We've got a Bulgarian player in there. Like, it's more welcome to join. Just know that, like, we like to talk whenever we think about talking, and sometimes it's not even relevant.
Yeah.
So that chat will go off at like 2 in the morning, and it'll be something completely unimportant. But it's a good laugh, man. But can't wait.
Yeah.
As soon as all this crap's out, face to face, we're gonna have drinks with our podcast. Doesn't feel right, man.
It's not the
Sitting here
same.
drinking.
I know, man. I had a cup of tea.
Alright. I'm on some Diet Coke.
I was on Dalton juice, man. Ridiculous. It's all good.
Right, but I
Never know.
might sign off.
Yep.
Sign off. Bye, guys.
So, I'll catch you later.
See you later on, everybody.
Right.